Hello dear students. Today we are going to look at 20th century literature. We are not going to look at the literature as such. We are going to look at what impacted the literature of the 20th century. What were the various influences on the literature of the 20th century? The major influences on literature, one that we can see is that there were amazing strides forward in technology. For example, there was an expansion in atomic energy, space exploration, genetic and biomedical engineering, and telecommunications. All these technological advances could save millions of human beings, but it could also destroy everything. So all these important leaps forward could also negatively impact the lives of all the people on the planet and even the future of Earth itself. So 20th century literature addresses these issues: freedom and oppression, fear and freedom from fear, ruins and achievements. When it comes to technology, we can see that right from the end of the Victorian era itself, mechanical devices dominate both the home and huge industries were set up. Obviously, this resulted in enormous environmental problems which we are trying to solve even today. Industrialization also led to rapid urbanization. People from villages moved to huge industrial cities, and these settlements were often very densely populated, once again leading to disease and pollution. Science became the most important subject of the 20th century. And science became important. As science became important, perhaps we can even say that the liberal arts or the humanities sometimes had to take a back seat. We can see that man tried to colonize space, and this is evident in the fact that many people own small plots on the moon. We can also see a great development in the field of medical sciences. Life expectancy, infant mortality, there was a great improvement in all these things. Then one of the major problems that happened at the beginning of the century was the 1930s, where the Great Depression happened. There was a lack of jobs, the value of money fell. It affected the poor because it made them even more poorer. It led them to the edge of starvation, and the rich often lost a lot of their investment. And there was widespread bankruptcy all over the world. The wars, the two wars, were the other great influence on literature. What did the wars teach us? Or what was the reflection of the wars in the literature of that time? One of the first things that we can see is that it was a lesson that man could easily destroy everything that he had built. Whatever it had taken a lifetime to build could be destroyed within seconds. It also showed us that cruelty is a part of the human psyche. What man could do to man was terrible. The suffering of war cannot be justified, whatever may be the victory. And victory in itself is often meaningless. Technology is used in a mindless manner, and the power that it exhibits is indeed great. Human existence is extremely fragile. Anything can happen at any time. Courage in itself is hopeless. And mankind is often fallible. Fallible as in man is capable of making mistakes. So these were the great lessons that the wars taught us, and this can be seen in the literature of the time. We'll just quickly look at a poem by William Butler Yeats, which portrays or captures the essence of the war. An Irish airman foresees his death, by William Butler Yeats. I know that I shall meet my fate somewhere among the clouds above. Those that I fight I do not hate. those that I guard, I do not love. Right? So he doesn't hate the enemy, nor does he love the people of his own country whom he is supposed to be guarding. My country is Kiltartan Cross. Kiltartan Cross is where his world begins and where his world ends. My countrymen, Kiltartan's poor. No likely end could bring them loss or leave them happier than before. So if I die, it's not such a great loss to them. And if I die a hero's death, it's not going to really make them very happy either. Nor law nor duty bade me fight, nor public men nor cheering crowds. So it was not law, or it was not duty, or even the cheering of crowds that pushed me to become an airman. And lonely impulse of delight drove to this tumult in the clouds. There was something that I felt that pushed me towards these clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seemed waste of breath, a waste of breath the years behind. He felt that there was nothing meaningful in his life so far, and in the future also he didn't see anything meaningful. In balance with this life, this death. And what about this death, this hero's death that I may get as an Irish airman? This death is also going to be a waste. That's what he feels. So this is a beautiful poem that captures quintessentially the war and how the common man, or even how poets saw the war. Then we can see the beginning of modernism with The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, published in 1922. And these are a few lines from different lines. These two lines are not taken together. They do not appear together in the poem. These fragments I have showed against my ruins. The fragments of what modern man is. Modern man is not a single whole, but he is made up of fragments. And again, I will show you fear in a handful of dust. Man's mortality is portrayed in those lines. Then we have the stream of consciousness movement, brought about or made popular through the writings of James Joyce and Virginia Woolf. And we can see that the literature of the mind is often one of escape. So in stream of consciousness, it's like a bizarre muttering of the mind, an overflow of what the mind has to say. And we can also see the emergence of new genres like apocalyptic literature or disaster literature, and of course with COVID in the current times, even pandemic literature. Now this is a small example from Mrs. Dalloway of stream of consciousness, for those of you who can understand. For those of you who don't know what stream of consciousness is all about, I'll just quickly read that and you'll understand how it is exactly. It is the portrayal of a person's, the way a person's mind functions. What a lark, what a plunge, for so it always seemed to me, when with a little squeak of the hinges, which I can hear now, I burst open the French windows and plunged at Bolton into the open air. How fresh, how calm, stiller than this of course. The air was in the early morning like the flap of a wave, the kiss of a wave, chill and sharp, and yet, for a girl of 18 as I then was, solemn, feeling as I did, standing there at the open window, that something awful was about to happen. This is from William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying. And this is also an example of stream of consciousness. Again, you can see an outpouring of the mental processes. Nonsense, you look like a girl. You are lots younger than Candace, colour in your cheeks like a girl, a face reproachful, tearful, an odour of camphor and of tears, a voice weeping steadily and softly beyond the toilet door, the twilight-coloured smell of honeysuckle, bringing empty trunks down the attic stairs. They sounded like coffins. So you can see where all the mind is wandering in these lines. Post-war, in the post-war period, the world split into two. We had the capitalist and the communist parts of the world. In the 1950s, we had the Cold War. And you all know that the Cold War resulted in the splitting up of a country like Germany into East Germany and West Germany, and into the splitting up of a city, of the capital city Berlin, into East and West, with a huge Berlin Wall dividing the city into two. The countries of the world built huge armies, and military bases were set up all over the world. In cultural changes, we can see that there was a boom in the entertainment industry in the post-war period. There was a growth of American mass culture. Television, radio, cinema all became very popular, and Hollywood influenced the entire world, including the Third World. When it came to the world of reading, in the 20th century, we can find lower priced editions. There were pocket editions, paperbacks, all which made culture something that was in the reach of the common man. We also have a huge number of artistic movements that came about. Here you can see, I'll just run through a few representations. You can see pictures and understand all these artistic movements. Here we can see Cubism. Above is a painting, one of the most famous paintings of Pablo Picasso, called Guernica, based on the Spanish Civil War. And below you can see a building that was inspired by Cubism. Then we have Vorticism. This is a work by Wyndham Lewis on the left, and Futurism, a work by Umberto Boccioni on the right. We also have art movements that were influenced or had their parallels in literature as well. Here we can see the very famous painting by Edvard Munch called The Scream, which is a representation of Expressionism. Here we can see The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali, which shows us Surrealism. Here we can see George Braque's Bottle and Fishes, which is a modernist painting. And this is pop art, the pop art of which was very popular in the United States. These are all installations by Claes Oldenburg. We also see in the 20th century the end of the colonial era. Countries of Asia, Africa and America became independent from their colonial masters. We have new non-English cultural forms, new writing by colonized people, and of course, the birth of what we call today post-colonial literature. We also have refugee movements where we have a lot of migration across borders. We have a large number of genocidal wars, ethnic cleansing taking place all over the world. We had ethnic cleansing of the Chechens in Russia, of the Serbs in Croatia, of the Bosnian Muslims in Bosnia, and even today we have the ethnic cleansing of the Rohingyas in Burma. And all this has led to mass migrations all over the world, right? And of course, this began with the migration of the Jews, the setting up of a country called Israel, and the migration of the Jews in the post-Nazi period. We also have the civil rights movement in America. It's not a refugee movement, but again, a movement that greatly influenced literature. So these are all the basic things that have greatly influenced literature of the 20th century. And I hope you have all understood the impact of these various influences and of these various movements. So thank you very much, and see you in the next class.